Hi everyone, welcome to Dave's Bonsai, and welcome to another edition of Cabin Bonsai. It's time to head to the cabin. I was supposed to go with Toby to go up and retrieve the boat to bring it back to the cities area, so maybe we could do some fishing and playing around town here. But too many trips and confusions created some cancellations with that plan. But I have to go up to the cabin to go clean out the septic system. Well, I won't be cleaning it out. Someone will be doing that for me. So instead of taking the boat from the cabin here, we're bringing back the sailboat up there because we won't use that here either because it needs some fixing, and we're just not going to get to it this year. So we need to get out of the metro area, and we're heading up north to the cabin. Did I bring a tree along? Well, of course I did. We'll see if we have time to work on it. It never ceases to amaze me that on a Thursday at about 9:45, there's still so much traffic around town. We are over halfway to the cabin. Traffic has not been too terrible. It has lightened up since the metro area. We're heading north on 10, and we are about 15 minutes shy of the Brainerd Lakes area of Minnesota, getting close to the cabin. The skies have clouded up just a little bit, which is not too bad. Temperature in the low 70s. I think it's going to be absolutely stunning on the riverfront. I've entered the mile or so what we call main road up to our cabin. This is where things start to get off the beaten path. It is paved. I remember back 20 years ago when they paved this, we said, oh no, it's losing some of its older charm with the dirt road. But in the wintertime and the early spring, it's pretty nice to have the modern convenience of a tar road. Windows are open, the music is off, looking for some deer to maybe cross the road. It's one of my brothers and I favorite memories of coming up to the cabin. When we get to the first turnoff off the main road now, you're always in anticipation of what's going to come around the corner. For as we drive through the windy dirt road now that leads into the cabin, when we were young, we would be up in our seats and overlooking Dad at the wheel and Mom at the passenger side and trying to get that first glimpse of the river beyond the dirt road and the trails here coming in. Our little oasis that's tucked in away on a quiet river in the Brainerd Lakes area. And as we pull up closer and closer to the river, there it is. The glistening water on a sunny day. And the cabin. Cabin truly is a special place. It's always very quiet. Unless it's 4th of July weekend. Seems like we have the river to ourselves most times. I'll put a link up there in the corner. I was up here in spring with Toby when there's still ice and plenty of snow. And we trimmed up that tree right there. It's kind of my river fallen down bonsai tree. It's doing pretty well this spring. We got a little weakness there on the upper left hand side, but from the river it looks kind of cool. And the old rope tree. We used to swing off into the river on that one. Definitely a slanted style bonsai in the works there. So today, just past the main cabin and the shop to the right, we have to have the septic people come in and take care of business. My brother was just up here with a good friend of his, and they cleared out the hole so the septic folks can take off the old cap and do their cleaning. Definitely something I want nothing to do with. I wonder if I brought my nose plugs. Here we have true up north bonsai. I am just shy of the Brainerd Lakes area, a little west of downtown Brainerd. I'm at the cabin and a little breeze off the lake, 72 degrees, and I have this Little Gem Norway Spruce. Beautiful little tree I found at my friends at Otten Brothers Nursery. Take two. Yeah. 2 phone calls I'm waiting for. I still have to hear from my surgery team for Monday when I get to get rid of yeah, the stuff with my kidney stones, or the next operation or procedure, I should say. It's not really an operation. And then, of course, the septic people are on the way, and it's kind of tricky to get around here back in the cabin. So while they find me and the call's coming in, let's see if we can take a peek at this Little Gem. So I found this Little Gem Norway Spruce at Otten Brothers Nursery on the west side of the metro. My friends over there, thanks to Chris and the gang for taking care of me over there. And I saw this thing on the ground after looking through their amazing selection of trees and shrubs and pre-bonsai plants, and they're really doing a great job there. And this thing just took out this really compact, itty-bitty foliage. I mean, look at that. Super, super cool. Now, not the best time of year for me to do anything major with this. I'm not going to repot it today, but I do want to slip it out of this nursery pot. I want to flip the pot over or just put it work on the table. I want to see where the trunk meets the root system, take a little bit of the soil up on top so I can kind of see the future of this tree. I just wanted something light to do while I was waiting for this stuff to come and take care of my septic system. Fun stuff. So here we go. Root system looks fairly good. I don't want to take too much down there. I got some nice white feeder roots going on the bottom there. And we're just going to go ahead, just get rid of a little bit of the top layer of this guy right here, so I can see where the roots are starting and see if I can see the very beginning view of possible fronts to this tree and how the trunk of this tree is working. So I'm just going to tease away like I typically would with a nursery pot selection, the top first. We always want to see where the roots connect to the trunk. I've said this many times before, but if you came in here and wanted to repot this and just chopped it in half right here, you may have roots going down the pot, up around the pot, and up towards the top, and you cut off almost all the roots. And again, I speak from experience because I've done that. So we're just taking the top layer roots off, or the soil rather, so I can find the roots at the top. Now, a tree with such dense foliage, we're probably going to run into a lot of dead stuff on the inside. And so what I could do in here, and what I expected I would run into, is a lot of this. A lot of dry, no more light in here, branches that are starting to die off, and we can clean that up. So that's going to be my goal today, while I'm waiting for my truck driver to come for the septic system, is to cut off some of these dry, weakened branches. And there are a lot of them. So this species of spruce, on the card that came with it, is reported to be a slow grower, but super, super dense. And therefore we have this super, super dense foliage. So underneath here though, we have a lot of dead stuff, because there's no light penetrating inside this mass of a tree. So we're going to go here in the bottom first and cut off all the little scraggly little dying branches down here, because they just don't get any light anymore. The bigger branches, the top branches, have cut out all of that light source. So super thick. Now I'm seeing a relatively nice Nabari as far as thickness. It's a little bit thicker trunk than I expected, so that's good. I could feel it with my fingers at the nursery. And I did have about 12, 15 to choose from. And so we're going to continue to go around and get rid of some of the dead stuff here, and then that's just going to give us an early indication of what this tree is going to look like. There are some green leaves coming out of here as well, but they're maybe half to 3/4 dead, and then some green at the tip. But there's small branches low on the tree that I'm probably just not going to keep anyway. So we'll go ahead and get rid of those. Looks like I have a couple of different directions the tree can go. A big branch to the left, a big branch to the right. Pretty thick too. Sticking the chopstick through the first subdivision of branching here, there's so much dead stuff in there. It's almost like going through soil. It just collected in there. And there's just a lot of dead stuff in there, sitting inside the inside of that tree here.
As I continue to clean away, I'm starting to see some of the structure of the tree. I have a nice, big major branch right there. There's a branch coming up here, a branch there and there. And one of the things we have to be careful about pruning some of these branches is this species, do we know if it's going to back bud if we cut too much off down the lower section? So we'll do a little bit of cleaning here, but we have to be careful of that. Another slightly changed angle from the underneath, looking at that trunk. Right from the back kind of side there. Very cool. So on a Colorado blue spruce, like the one in my yard, if I cut some branches away and get more light into the inner branches, they start to back bud. My black spruce collected from the bogs of northern Minnesota, yeah, they don't back bud so nicely that I've noticed so far. And I don't know if they back bud very well at all in general. So every species is a little bit different. This is a species that I'm not 100% sure on yet because it's new to me. The Norway spruce, but a Little Gem variety. So what did they do? What parts of the trees did they keep as far as if they have some genetically modified tree from original Norways, making this little tiny cute thing with smaller, more compact foliage? What's its growth going to be like? What's its back budding going to be like? We're not going to know any of that until we actually perform some of these functions right here. So all I can do right now is cut off the dead stuff. And with the dead stuff cut off, this will have a little bit of life to it. With the dead stuff cut off, we'll have more light coming in here, and we'll be able to see next year, after all of the energy is stored up after fertilizing this fall, what's going to push out as new growth. Now that was a little bit bigger cut right there, coming out at a really weird junction of that really nice branch. So we're going to cut that off so that can heal the rest of this summer. There. Now we can see the tree a little bit starting to take shape after getting rid of all of these dead little pieces in here. There, now there's a branch that was dead down here, but look at all the nice foliage I took off, and we created a little hole right there. So now I have to start being really careful not to take too much off. We got a pad here, pad up here, and so a little bit of gap here. But we're just gonna see what this brings us in the next year. I think this is a good place for me to stop. I don't want to disrupt any more of the roots here in the soil here. We're going to put it back in the original pot, but now look, we can see underneath the tree and we can see some structure. So there is part of the underside of that tree right there. And then we can come over to this side. We got some views under there as well. Some small branches, some thicker branches. So 360 degrees. It's kind of a fun little tree with really compact growth. I'll be able to take care of some of that growth next time. So let's get it back in the pot, and we have a tree that's going to have a fun future. I can't wait till next spring to dig into this tree. So I'm going to shove some of that dirt down the sides, get my chopstick in action here, and make sure that all this dirt gets stacked down by the lower part of the tree. And it's got good it's fairly moist soil, so I'll give it a water when I get home tonight. I'm just going back. This is just a day trip. There are very few roots affected by this cleaning up of the tree. So there we have it. Now I can take all my scraps and just throw them in the forest. Hey, that's going to do it for this short edition of Dave's Bonsai up at the cabin. Got a chance to see some beautiful sights, beautiful day, and the septic people are just around the corner. I can just sense it. So I'm going to take care of that, and then I'm just going to head back home and put this thing together in the editing suite. So hey, take care of you, take care of your bonsai, and we'll catch you on the next one. From the cabin, signing off.